Welcome to the Serendipitous Rebel podcast. I'm Wendy.
And I'm Crystal. This podcast is for the adventure-loving, purpose-driven, action-minded, authentic, and rebellious entrepreneurs.
Just like us. And just like you, we are trying to figure shit out. So join us as we talk about business and life and everything in between. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the next episode of Serendipitous Rebel. Hi, I'm Wendy, and I'm here with
Crystal.
Oh, and today we are going to talk about something that we've done. Something, yes, that
Still
we've
can't
done.
believe we did that.
I know. And what is that something? So we have signed up for the Disney half marathon running race in January 2023 at Disney World. I will start off by saying the intent was not to initially start off with the half marathon. It was to start off, but nonetheless, the intent was always just to run an endurance race. Today, we want to dig a little bit into why the heck do people do this? Why the heck does it matter to entrepreneurs? Let me start off by saying to Crystal, why did you do this?
Because I'm a masochist. So I had on my bucket list for a long time a half marathon. And I do want to emphasize the half part of the half marathon. I've never run a long distance race. I did one 5K in college. I was up drinking until 6 a.m. the night before. I was 20. You can do stupid things like that when you're 20. I think that when I signed up, I could not run a full mile straight. So why I did this is a really good question. Why did I do this? I asked myself that the other day when I was running. Why did I do this? But I had it on my bucket list for a really long time. And our family motto is we can do hard things. It's been our family motto for a lot of years now. I wanted to do something hard. I wanted to do something that was challenging. And I wanted to do something that was my choice. That was something I wanted to do. It was something for me too. And it was a self-inflicted hurt because I feel like this year there were a lot of other really tough things and tough scenarios that came out of the woodwork with work. Wendy and I dissolved a partnership in January of this year. That was a really difficult, stressful time, just a little. I've got a special needs daughter. It's been a really tough year with her. There were all kinds of other uncertain things going on. And I just wanted something that was going to push me that had, really, like somebody told me like, why the heck did you do that? I said, gosh, what's the worst that's going to happen? I'm going to be in Disney World with like one of my favorite people. For the weekend. I just don't see the downside to this. So there was very little consequences, I guess, to this. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, it makes sense. Yes.
So I thought, yeah, why not? Like I get to do this thing and I get to cross something off my list and it'll be an accomplishment that I'm really proud of when we do it. It will push me out of my comfort zone a little bit. Why did you do it?
I'd love to say peer pressure, but no.
We did put on a lot of peer pressure.
I row half marathons and
crazy to me.
And I've been doing them for over a year. I do a couple of them a month. It's saying now I do understand that running is a completely different thing. It's, can I push my body? I mean, I have bad knees, so this is going to be it's going to be interesting, but can I push my body? Mm-hmm. I have to admit the concept of wearing a tutu and a little t-shirt at Disney is kind of a fun thing. And I do think it's, oh yeah, we're going to do this. And, I will say that I've sort of picked up or jumped on the we do hard things bandwagon in a different sort of way. And I like the idea of pushing myself and seeing, okay, can I do this? And and I love that. What is the worst thing that would happen? The worst thing that happens is I hit 5K and say, I'm done. Or I hit 10K and say, I'm done. Or I end up not really completely running, but doing more walking than running. Really, if in the scheme of things, how we cross the finish line is very personal and very dependent on ourselves. Also, I do enjoy the process that leads up to it. And I do this when I row. I like the motivation part of it. With Rebel on the Go, I did an endurance challenge. Oh my gosh, in the fall, leading up to, pick some sort of an endurance event and let's train for it. And I find that process, oh wow, that's really a weird insight into myself. I find that process to be exhilarating and fun. Ooh, that is weird.
It's super energizing, I think.
Yeah, I'm driven by goals, whether it's a goal or it's a milestone or I look at them as milestones. I look at them as stepping stones, and I'm very driven by that. I think you are too.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's also an important thing when you're, to be perfectly honest, when you're entrepreneurs, to have those, you have to have milestones. So, and I have to say, we will have so much fun in Disney. It'll be like being kids in the Disney store.
Yes, adults at Disney. That's a whole other different thing. Yeah, because we are doing this with a group of other people as well. That's what I kept coming back down to, was that the worst case scenario is I'm at Disney World with my friends for the weekend in a fun tutu. Wendy found our tutus the other day, by the way, and
go get them.
I'm super excited about it. And our cute Serendipitous Rebel tanks that I'm designing out right now. And I'm going to dye my hair pink, and I'm super excited about it. You are one of my motivations to wanting to do something big like this, because Wendy, I really want to emphasize here, Wendy rows half marathons, plural. She's done more than one.
Yes.
How many have you done?
I have done officially 2 of them. I have a third one coming up. But what I do on Fridays, and I do this not every Friday, but I try to do this 2 to 3 Fridays a month, where I row half marathon. I do 3 classes and I row the 21,097. Yeah, I come home and I'll say to my husband, who works from home on Fridays, oh my God, we have to go find food. And then now
super hungry. Well, no, because I think about that too. When I go out to run, you motivate me, because Wendy and I usually start the mornings off on Voxer with one another. Mm-hmm. And usually Wendy's talking to me either on her way to a workout class or on her way home from a workout class. I don't work out till late at night because I've got small children. So I have to wait for Dad to come home. And then I live in Texas where it's 1,000 degrees. So I have to wait for the sun to go down. So I'll go out and I'll go running at night. And so by the end of the day, I'm like, I don't want to do this. But then I'm like, but Wendy got her ass up at the crack of dawn and went and rode 1,000,000 meters. I can go run a mile real quick and get my butt in gear and get going.
There's priorities as we go. And I can tell you, when my kids were smaller, I wasn't doing this stuff. And whenever I did go to the gym, I was going at night, not very successfully. Things are different now. I mean, I actually get to enjoy, especially my daughter's company. She doesn't like to row. Let's be serious. She rows with me to keep me company. Awesome. During the pandemic, we rowed as a family. But yeah, my kids are older, so it's a different season. We're in different sort of life seasons right now. You need to give yourself, and I'm right now giving you a huge pat on the back, because it's really hard. For me, it's hard at the end of the day. There's so many other things I'd rather be doing, like sleeping. Mm-hmm. My feet up in the air saying, okay, I'm done.
I'm
So
done.
yeah, and I think it's really important. And this is just like self-care in general. And this, I do think, very much crosses a number of lines that includes self-care, is that being able to set your time, set your calendar, it becomes a priority.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And of course that priority can change in a second, but it's having it like on the calendar. This is what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. It's kind of like, okay, so I signed up to do this thing. Everybody thinks you're crazy when you sign up for a half marathon, by the way. If I had a nickel for every time I heard that. So you're signing up to do this thing, but how important is it, do you think, for an entrepreneur to do something like this?
That's a good question. I want to know your answer.
So to me, I think it's really important because I think it crosses over to exactly what you had just touched on, which says that it's self-care.
Yeah.
Physical movement's important to prioritize as an entrepreneur, in my opinion. And it makes me sound like some weird, bubbly health nut, which I am not, because I just ate a bag of Cheetos for lunch. Also, when I made the decision to sign up for the half marathon, I was absolutely getting chili cheese fries from Sonic. When the group text message came through, and I agreed to this thing in full disclosure, so we can all know where my health priorities are. But I think that you need to incorporate some sort of an entrepreneurship, not sort of entrepreneurship. You need to incorporate some sort of a physical activity into your routine.
Yes.
I think that being outside, highly important as an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes we get into our little cave bubbles in our offices, in our computer, in our houses.
Yes.
And we don't shower for days. Not that I have any personal experience with such a thing.
Yeah.
But then I think, I just think it's like highly important.
Oh, there's absolutely no question. And that the physical elements are so important to us as well, entrepreneurs as human beings, making sure that we focus time on ourselves. I also think there's a mindset that crosses kind of both divides. When you're running a race or participating in some sort of an endurance, you need to train. First of all, you need to set goals. And it could be, I'm going to finish this race, or I'm going to blah, 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 whatever it is. You have to set goals. You have to train to meet the goals. And generally the training is every effing day or whatever, or 5 days a week or 3 days or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
You can't look outside and say, I don't like the weather. You have to do it. And you have to be in the mindset, the headspace that says, I'm going to do this. And that's where you build the grit. That's where the resilience comes in. But that's what an entrepreneur does every day. You can't be a successful entrepreneur if you wake up and say, I just don't feel like this. Because ultimately, you're not going to be particularly successful. It's like every day, same thing. Every day I wake up, and this is so not a hardship. Yes, but I get up and I start my day. As I drive to working out, 9 times out of 10, I do my little Voxer exercise. Why? Because it is a habit, because it gets my mind working. It gets my mind working. And that's something I actually enjoy. And I go, and whether it's doing Pilates or rowing 5 days a week, or sometimes 6 days a week, this is what I do, because I've now worked to program myself to get into these habits that ultimately that's what gets me to succeed. And then you also can see that there's energy, a ridiculous amount of energy on the Voxer other end.
I think of that every time you do that. I'll be honest. I think of that scene in Legally Blonde where she goes, and exercise gives you endorphins. Endorphins make you happy, and happy people don't kill their husbands. That's just common sense. And I actually think of Reese Witherspoon sometimes when you're on a Voxer
she's
post-workout high.
Yeah, she's not going to kill anyone.
She's not going to kill anyone today, but it is true. And even, my husband pushes me now because if I'm in a rut or if I'm a little crappy, not that I'm ever crappy or anything less than a ray of sunshine, but on days that maybe I'm a little more hazy than normal, he'll ask me, he goes, when was the last time you worked out? Because it is a huge de-stressor. It is a huge moment. And having that balance with work as an entrepreneur, because as an entrepreneur, it's really hard for us to leave the office. We work from home. It's hard to know where the line is. It's different than when I worked in an office. When I left work, my emails didn't come home with me. Right. I didn't really get phone calls after hours very often, unless I was working in meetings, but then my hours were just shifted. Honestly, I worked evenings. It's just different. The line is there, but the line is a little bit fuzzier as an entrepreneur. So having that break, that timeout point, that moment where I say, okay, I'm going to go do this and I'm going to clear my head and I'm going to let some things go. And I'm not going to respond to any more emails today. And I'm not going to think anymore about that crazy project or that call I have coming up with a lawyer or whatever it is just a huge blessing to have. Having that ability to block out the space, to do those things because I'm working towards a goal. I have this thing in mind that I'm doing. So it's going to force me way early today to do some things incrementally to get there. I know that if I don't do anything today, I'm not going to cross that finish line in January. And so I needed something to get me motivated, to get me out of my head and to do it. And there is just something about being an entrepreneur that gives you maybe a little bit more of an inclination than not to sign up for something stupidly hard like a half marathon.
What an entrepreneur does day in and day out, stupidly hard. I don't know, stupid, but sometimes crazy. Or maybe all the time crazy. I can't agree with you more because I can't. I think that going through the process is something entrepreneurs should do, especially when you go from being an entrepreneur to a CEO. And there's more of that day in, day out, sometimes very mundane. There's shit you have to do that not only adding the endorphins, but adding the challenge, at setting goals. It's very stimulating. It's very exciting. I don't know. I think it's fun, but
it is fun.
Yeah.
It is fun. And it's all on your own time. It's all on your own flexibility. And you're only competing against yourself.
Oh, definitely. Oh, that is so true. That is so true. I mean, I'm sure there are people out there who do this so that they could win or whatever. Oh dear.
We are not one of those people.
No, it's crossing a finish line, but it's also setting goals for just myself. I know that the first time I rode a half marathon, I had a goal, and goal I wanted to be was under 2 hours. And I ended up coming in at 1 hour, 56 minutes. And I cannot remember. I think it was maybe 32 seconds. Wow, that's really crazy that I remember that detail. It was huge, even though I'd never done this before and I had no idea. I set a goal. And then the second time I said 1 hour, 55 minutes. And I ended up actually blowing that away and coming in at actually 1 hour and 50 minutes. It's that mental thing where you're saying, I'm setting a goal for myself. Nobody else is going to achieve this. I'm either going to rise or fall on my own. That's it. It's just you rise or you fall. And either way, it's okay. I hear a lot, showing up is half the battle. And it's funny though. No, it's not. Showing up is the first step of the battle. I mean, if you don't show up, there's nothing. Even take that into consideration. If showing up is like just getting to the first, getting to the starting line. And from there, I think it's like 20% skill. It's making sure you know what you're doing, making sure you have the right shoes or whatever. But ultimately 80% it's all in your head. It's your head and your heart.
Well, great. Well, guys, stay tuned because we do have a part 2 to this, and that is the parallels that we're seeing in training for a half marathon and running a business. So stay tuned next week for that. But unless you've got anything else to add, Wendy, I think that's all for today.
Now I'm ready to go row.
Shocking. All right. Until next time, guys. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe and leave us a rating.
Only if you liked it. Otherwise, just keep it to yourself.
You can learn more about our upcoming masterminding opportunities on our website at serendipitousrebel.com.
And if you have topics you'd like to hear about, be sure to submit them on our website or DM us on social media.
Hey, see you next week. Bye.